Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you questions on a daily basis which are helpful from the point of view of prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Consider the following statements with reference to the National Infrastructure Pipeline. It is a group of social and economic infrastructure projects in India over a period of 5 years. Second, the centre and state are expected to have an almost equal share in implementing the projects, while the private sector has only 22% share. Third, India Investment Grid provides real-time updates on the implementation of the National Infrastructure Pipeline. So, look at the options please. The options were, which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. Or D. 1, 2 and 3. So I hope you have answered it correctly. I am moving back to the question. The correct answer for this is D, that is 1, 2 and 3 only. All these statements are correct. Let's move on to the explanation. The National Infrastructure Pipeline is a group of social as well as economic infrastructure projects in India for a period of 5 years with an initial sanctioned amount of 102 lakh crore. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The centre with 39% share and the states with 39% share are expected to have an equal share in implementing the projects. If we talk about the private sector, their share is 22%. Hence, statement 2 is correct. If we talk about the National Infrastructure Pipeline, it from the period of 2020 to the period of 2025, it will attract 70% of the projected capital expenditures in the sectors of urban, energy, road and railways. So move on to the third statement. The India Investment Grid is designed to give real-time updates on the implementation of the National Infrastructure Pipeline. Hence, statement 3 is also correct. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following countries: India, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand. Which of the countries given above are part of naval exercise SITMEX 20? A. 1, 2 and 3 only. B. 1, 2 and 4 only. C. 2, 3 and 4 only. Or D. All of the above. Think it through. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is B. That is 1, 2 and 4 only. India, Singapore and Thailand. These are the part of this exercise. Let's move on to the explanation. The second edition of India, Thailand and Singapore trilateral naval exercise concluded in Andaman Sea. This exercise is known as by the name of SITMEX 20. The Prime Minister of India, during his keynote address in Shangri-La in the year 2018, announced the conduct of a trilateral naval exercise between India, Singapore and Thailand. So this particular exercise of Singapore, India and Thailand maritime exercise was hosted by Indian Navy. It was conducted off Port Blair in September 2019. This was the first ever exercise that was conducted of SITMEX. So SITMEX is conducted at an annual level. That means on yearly basis, this exercise has been conducted. Next, the SITMEX series of exercises are conducted to enhance mutual interoperability and imbibing best practices between Indian Navy, the Republic of Singapore Navy and the Royal Thai Navy. It also aims to strengthen mutual confidence and develop common understanding and procedures towards enhancing the overall maritime security in the most contested region of Indo-Pacific region. The exercise is in line with India's SAGAR, that is security and growth for all in this region, in the region vision. So if you want to know about more about the SAGAR exercise, you can always visit the Drishti IAS site and learn about it more. With reference to Lok Adalats, consider the following statements. it shall have the same powers as are vested in a civil court under the Code of Civil Procedure. Second, it shall have no jurisdiction in respect of any case or matter relating to an offence not compoundable under any law. Third, no appeal shall lie to any court against the award of the Lok Adalat. Look at these statements. Now let's look at the options. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 1 and 3 only, or D, all of the above. Look at these statements once again. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is D, that means all of the above statements are correct. All of these statements are correct. Now let's look at the explanation. In the period of turbulence caused by the pandemic, legal services authorities creatively adapted to the new normal and moved Lok Adalats to the virtual platform. In June 2020 to October 2020, 27 e-Lok Adalats have been organized in 15 states, wherein 4.83 lakh cases were taken up and 2.51 lakh cases were disposed of, resulting in the settlement of 1409 crore. That's such a big deal. Further, during the November 2020, e-Lok Adalats have been organized in states of Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Telangana so far, wherein 16,651 cases were taken up and 12,686 cases were disposed of, resulting in the settlement of 107.4 crores. Now, National Legal Services Authority, along with other legal services institutions, conducts the Lok Adalats, and matters such as matrimonial, family disputes, criminal, which are compoundable offences, land acquisition cases, labour disputes, workmen's compensation cases, bank recovery cases, etc. are being taken up in Lok Adalats. The Lok Adalat shall have the same power as vested in a civil court in the Codes of Civil Procedure 1908. Also, however, the Lok Adalats shall have no jurisdiction in respect of any case or matter relating to an offence not compoundable by the under any law. Further, a Lok Adalat shall have the requisite power to specify its own procedure for the determination of any dispute coming before it. All proceedings before Lok Adalat shall be deemed to be judicial proceedings within the meaning of the Indian Penal Code of 1860, and every Lok Adalat shall be deemed to be a civil code for the purpose of Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. Alright, so let's move on to more explanation. An award of a Lok Adalat shall be deemed to be a decree of a civil court or an order of any other court. That means it has the sanctity of being a law. Every award made by a Lok Adalat shall be final and binding on all the parties to the dispute. Now let's move on to the next question, please. Lakshmi Devi temple recently in the news was built by which of the following dynasty? A. Pallavas, B. Chalukyas, C. Hoysalas, D. Rashtrakutas. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is C, that is Hoysalas. Let's move on to the explanation. Recently, a Hoysala era idol of goddess Kali of the Lakshmi Devi temple at Doda Gadda Valley, Karnataka has been found to be damaged. Lakshmi Devi temple was built by the Hoysalas in the year 1114 Christ era during the rule of King Vishnu Vardhan. This particular building material of this temple is chloritic schist, most commonly known as soapstone, and the main deity is goddess Lakshmi, whereas all Hoysala temples are dedicated either to Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, or in some cases to Jain gods. An archaeological survey of India monument, and it is also among the monuments proposed for the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Hoysala temples are sometimes called Vesara or hybrid. That means they are neither pure Dravida nor Nagara but somewhere in between. These are the different styles of temples. They are easily distinguishable from the medieval temples by their highly original star-like ground plans. They have a star-like ground plan like this. Alright, so moving on to more explanation. The temples, instead of consisting of a single inner chamber with its pillared hall, contains multiple shrines grouped around a central pillared hall and laid out in the shape of an intricately designed star. Intricately means very profusely designed. The most characteristic feature of this temple is that they grow extremely complex in nature, with so many projecting angles emerging from previously straightforward square temple that the plan of these temples start looking like a star and is thus known as stellate plan. This particular type of temple is known as stellate plan. This is the particular shape. As you can see, it goes in the different directions like a star. Alright. Let's move on to the next question, please. With reference to Sentinel-6 satellite, consider the following statements. First, it would measure the height of the ocean. Second, it has been developed by Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency or JAXA. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A, that is 1 only. Only the first statement is correct. Now let's move on to the explanation. The Copernicus Sentinel Michael Freilich satellite, designed to monitor ocean, was launched from Vandenberg Air Force Base in California aboard a SpaceX Falcon rocket. Alright. And the mission called the JASON Continuity of Service or JASON CS mission. It is designed to measure the height of the ocean, which is a key component in understanding how the Earth's climate is changing. Basically to measure the climate change. This is a part of the next mission dedicated to measuring changes in the sea level, global sea level. These satellites, more satellites have been launched since the year 1992. Other satellites have been launched since 1992 to track changes in the ocean at a global scale, including the Tropex Poseidon, JASON-1 and JASON-2, among others. More satellites are therefore measuring the global sea level. It has been developed jointly by the European Space Agency, by NASA, European Organization for the Exploitation of Meteorological Satellite or EUMETSAT, the USA's National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration NOAA, and the EU, with contributions from France National Center for Space Studies, that is CNES. The satellite will ensure the continuity of sea level observations into the fourth decade and will provide measurements for global sea level rise. Now, let's move on to the next question. With reference to negative yield bonds, consider the following statements. First, these are debt instruments that offer to pay the investor a maturity amount lower than the purchase price of the bond. Second, they attract investment during times of uncertainty as investors look to protect their capital from significant erosion. Please see these statements attentively. Let's move on to the options. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. I hope you have answered it correctly. I am moving back to the statements. So the correct answer for this question is C. That is, both 1 and 2 of these statements are correct. Alright, let's move on to the explanation. The explanation says, China sold negative yield debt for the very first time, and this saw a high demand from investors across Europe. And as yields in Europe are getting lower, there was a huge demand for the 4 million euro bonds which was issued by China. These are debt instruments that often pay the investors a maturity amount which is less than the purchase price of the bond. That is why they are known as negative yield bond. These are generally issued by central banks or governments, and investors pay interest to the borrower to keep their money with them. Also, negative yield bonds attract investment during times of stress and uncertainty as investors look to protect their capital from significant erosion. At a time when the world is battling with the COVID-19 pandemic and interest rates in developed markets across Europe are much lower, investors are looking for relatively better yielding debt instruments to safeguard their interests. Now, let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements about Umang app. First, the Umang mobile app is all-in-one single, unified mobile app providing access to pan-India e-government services ranging from central to local government bodies. Second, it is an initiative of the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Look through these statements. Let's move on to the options. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. Look at the statements once again. I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer for this question is A. That is 1 only. Only the first statement is correct. Now let's move on to the explanation. To mark the occasion of 3 years, Umang app, To mark the occasion of 3 years of Umang app, its international version was launched recently during the online conference for select countries such as USA, UK, Canada, UAE, Netherlands, Singapore, Australia and New Zealand. Umang app, or Unified Mobile Application for New Age Governance, is a Government of India all-in-one single, unified, secure, multi-channel, multilingual, multi-services mobile app. Also, Umang app provides a single platform for all Indian citizens to access pan-India e-government services ranging from central to the local government bodies and other citizen-centric services. Hence, we saw that statement 1 is correct. It's a Digital India initiative of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology launched in the year 2017. Hence, statement 2 is not correct. Now, let's look at the next question. Which of the following statements is correct about Advanced Pricing Agreement or APA? A. Pre-harvest agreement between buyers and farmer producers. It's limited trade agreement to lower tariffs on a small set of goods apart from easing rules for select services. C. Trading agreements including renegotiating tariffs on some items along with the tightening of provisions governing country of origin certification. D. Agreement between a taxpayer and tax authority determining the transfer pricing methodology. So you have to choose the statement which is correct. I hope you have answered it in your minds. So the correct answer for this question is D. That is, it is an agreement between a taxpayer and tax authority determining the transfer pricing methodology. So let's move on to the explanation. A new unified single window clearance system for foreign direct investment proposals would be in place by March 31 that would not only make approvals more transparent but also more quick and expeditious. Under this, bilateral advance pricing agreement or APAs must be expedited instead of taking 5 years as they had been in some cases. APA is an agreement between a taxpayer and a tax authority determining the transfer pricing methodology for pricing the taxpayer's international transactions for the future years. Also, let's move on to the next question. With reference to the International Maritime Organization, consider the following statements. First, the IMO is the United Nations specialized agency responsible for the prevention of marine and atmospheric pollution by ships. Second, India is a founding member of IMO. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. So I hope you have answered it correctly in your minds. It's A, that is 1 only the first statement is correct. Now let's look at the explanation. India became the 4th country in the world to have its own independent regional navigation satellite system, that is Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. India is the 4th country in the world to have its IRNSS recognized by the International Maritime Organization as a part of the Worldwide Radio Navigation System. The IMO is the United Nations specialized agency which was established by a UN convention in Geneva on 17th March 1948. Also, it is responsible for the safety and security of shipping and the prevention of marine and atmospheric pollution by the ships. It has currently 174 member states and India joined in the year 1959. Now, let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements about environment impact assessment. First, it is a process of evaluating the likely environmental impacts of a proposed project or development. Second, it is backed by the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, or D. neither 1 nor 2. I hope you have answered it correctly and thought it through. The correct answer for this question is C. That is, both 1 and 2 of these statements are correct. So let's move on to the explanation. It is a process, the environmental impact assessment is a process of evaluating the likely environmental impacts of a development or developmental project or any other project, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural and human health impacts, both beneficial and adversarial. EIA in India is statutorily backed by the Environment Protection Act of 1986. The assessment is carried out by the Expert Appraisal Committee, which is a group of scientists and project management experts. Also, I wish to tell you that the Expert Appraisal Committee exists at both the union and the state level. Alright, now let's move on to the next question. With reference to pardoning powers of President and Governor, consider the following statements. First, both the President and Governor can pardon the death sentences. Second, while the President can pardon in case of court-martial, the Governor cannot grant pardon in the court-martial. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. both 1 and 2, D. neither 1 nor 2. So I hope you have answered it correctly. The correct answer is B. That is 2 only. Only the second statement is correct. Let's move on to the explanation. The president can pardon the death sentence, but the governor of a state cannot do that. And the president can pardon in case of a court martial, but the governor cannot do the same. Alright. Now let's move on to the practice question for the next segment. For this you have to answer in the comment segment. Alright. Consider the following statements about biological and toxin weapons convention. First, it is the first multilateral disarmament treaty banning the development and stockpiling of an entire category of weapons of mass destruction. Second, India has not ratified the agreement. Which of the statements given above are correct? A1 only, B2 only, C both 1 and 2, or D neither 1 nor 2. So I hope you will be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. So that's it for today. I am concluding the piece. Tomorrow we'll meet again. Thank you so much for watching.